A toddler sits in a high chair by the window. He cannot talk yet, not one real word. Outside, a dog trots past on the sidewalk. His whole face lights up. He lifts one chubby finger towards the glass. And then he does the thing that matters most. He turns and looks back at you to check that you saw it too. That look back is one of the most human things you will ever witness, and almost no other creature on earth can do it. The finger is not really the miracle. The miracle is the turn of the head. In that instant, the child is not asking for the dog. He does not want to hold it or feed it. He wants one thing only. He wants the dog to live inside your mind too, so the two of you can notice it together. He is not just noticing the dog, he is thinking about what is in your head, and that runs far deeper than it looks. Now picture a chimp who has found where a keeper hid a snack. It knows. Another chimp beside it does not. Will it gesture and tell the secret to its friend? It will not. Time after time, a chimp will happily beg a human for food, but it almost never tips off another chimp to something purely to share the knowing. A chimp can be a genius. It simply does not seem to think, you should see this too. Here is the strange part. Almost no other animal on earth gives itself away like that. You were built to be read, and pointing is the loudest proof of it. Think about a lion creeping toward a deer. The last thing it wants is for the deer to know where it is looking. Now think about the deer watching for danger without letting the lion catch its fear. In the wild, where you look is a secret worth keeping. A hidden gaze can mean the difference between the hunt and the escape. So most animals evolved to conceal it. Their eyes give almost nothing away. Then you look at a human eye and it does the exact opposite. Around the colored circle of your eye sits a wide band of bright white. It is called the sclera, and yours is on open display. It frames the dark center like a target, so anyone glancing at your face can tell in a heartbeat which way you are looking. Two researchers, Hiromi Kobayashi and Shiro Kohishima, compared the eyes of many kinds of primates. Nearly all of them have dark, hidden sclera that mask the direction of their gaze. Only the human eye is built the other way, wide and pale and easy to read. We are the one primate that openly advertises where its attention is aimed. Why would evolution make you easier to spy on? Because no predator was tracking your eyes. You were among allies who needed to read them. For a creature that lives by working together, a readable gaze is not a weakness, it is a superpower. It lets a mother and infant, a hunter and a partner, a teacher and a child share one focus in total silence. And a pointing finger is that very same idea turned up as loud as it will go. An eye quietly whispers where you are looking. A finger shouts it. When you point, you are broadcasting your attention on purpose, telling another mind, here, this, look where I'm looking. No other animal does this freely. A chimp will not lift a finger just to show a friend a nice view. But you have done it since before you could even talk. Michael Tomasello, a psychologist who spent years comparing human children with apes, ran a simple, clever test. He had a person looking up toward the ceiling. Sometimes they turned their whole head, sometimes they moved only their eyes. The great apes followed the head. When only the eyes moved, they mostly missed it. Human babies did the opposite, following the eyes alone, easily, from very early on. Apes are brilliant. They use tools, they plan, they remember, and they often beat us on memory and cunning. But they mostly treat attention as a private thing aimed at their own goals. On the one thing that counts here, the urge to share a mind, the toddler wins every time. Michael calls it joint attention. You and I, aimed at the same thing, each aware the other is aiming at it too. It feels like the floor of ordinary life. It is really the ceiling for animal thought, and it is the root of nearly everything human. And you were doing it before you could talk. Alf Liskowski, who studied how babies gesture, found that pointing shows up around a child's first birthday, months ahead of real words. A 1 year old will point at the moon through a car window, not to be handed the moon, only to say, without a word, look up there with me. The point comes first. The words arrive later. Here is a test you can run on yourself. Drop yourself into a country whose language you do not speak a single word of. You will be helpless with words, but you will not be helpless. You can still point to a map, a plate, a train, and a stranger who shares not one word with you will understand it once. Pointing works in every human culture we know of. It is a language older than language, one we all still speak fluently. The very first bridge two minds ever learned to build. It is also how you learned every word you know. Think back further than you can really remember to how language first got into you. Someone pointed at a bird and said, bird, pointed at the moon and said, moon. Again and again, a finger aimed your attention to a thing while a sound landed on top of it. That is the whole trick. Every name for everything came to you riding on a point. Without the shared look, the sound would have been noise. The pointing is what made the words stick. That leap from the hand to the meaning is one small move no other young animal reliably makes. Once you notice it, you start to see it holding up your whole day. A doctor pips her eyes towards a tray, and the nurse lays the right tool in her hand. A driver taps the windshield, and a passenger catches the exit just in time. Every arrow on every sign, every cursor on every screen, every dropped pin on a map is the same ancient gesture wearing a new coat. We turned one finger into 1,000 tools, and they all still do the one old job. Here, this, look where I'm looking. So the next time a child or a friend or a stranger points at something and then looks back at you, waiting, understand what they are really asking. Not for the thing, for you. For one shared moment where two separate minds hold the same small piece of the world. It is the oldest and most human way of saying, you are not alone in here. I am right beside you, looking at the very same thing.